Welcome to Scandal Water, where the tea is hot and the conversation lively.
Your hosts, Candy
And Ashley,
will discuss a peculiar story somehow related to the entertainment industry. This podcast might not change the world, but it just might satisfy your thirst for an intriguing tale.
Oh, it's that time of day. Tune in and hear what the ladies say. It's time to bend your ear when the silver screen appears. Stories about the stage and screen and everything in between. So come on and join the fun. The curtain opens in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Ashley.
hello, Candy.
We are ready for an update episode.
I know, already.
I know. Can you believe we are already at the end of season 2?
And we're on episode 99.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
It's a great number, though. I love the number 99.
Yes. Agent 99 was a nice lady.
Oh, there you go.
On Get Smart.
There you go. Way to make an entertainment connection.
Yeah.
Right.
To start us off on our update of 99, I love the seeing what the top episodes are and everything like that. So our top 10 episodes as of right now, Tommy Doo. He's still got the top spot. Frozen in Time, an interview with Charleston's Tommy Doo. Fan favorite, our favorite, Staging a Murder. Number 2. 3 is Selena the White Rose.
Oh, she's moved up.
She has. May I Help You Fall Asleep? Our ASMR friends.
Yes.
Jaws Part 2.
Well, that's interesting.
No, not part 1.
Okay.
Another favorite of mine, Making History with Eric Archilla, behind the scenes of the hit podcast 1865. Shout out to him. Then You're Not Crazy, You're Being Gaslighted.
I love that one.
I do too. Last 2, A Look Inside the Most Terrifying Building in America, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, where we've discovered I will never go there. and then the last 2, Forging a New Path, Michael J. Fox, Christina Applegate, and Robert Downey Jr. And the final is May I Help You Solve a Crime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a nice list.
It is a nice list. And then we also have our top countries. We're international now, Candy.
Hey.
We have United States, of course.
Yes.
Our friends up north in Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Singapore.
Well, hello to our friends from other places.
That's right. And I've been tracking. We've officially been downloaded in now 48 states.
What are the 2 we're missing?
Montana and Alaska. New Hampshire finally caved. It was like the only state on the north, on the whole, the whole coast that hadn't downloaded us. And there's one download. We are probably not their cup of tea because it's only one download, but it still counts. It still counts. So New Hampshire, give us another try. I promise you'll like us. But Montana just does not have time for us, nor does Alaska.
They are busy.
They are busy
things outdoors.
They are doing big, big things. So for our top 12 states, I kind of did that because there were some that were really close together. We have Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, Texas, Ohio, New York, California, Georgia, the District of Columbia, Pennsylvania, Florida, and South Carolina.
Nice.
Home of Tommy Doo. So I'm going to give Tommy Doo a shout out whenever possible. All right. And that's our statistics.
I love our statistics. It's so
Yeah.
fun. Well, we have a lot of updates, of course, coming up for season 2. But before we jump into that, we have just a couple of things we wanted to go back and address from season 1.
Yeah. Things are still happening.
That's right. So I'm going to share a quick update related to Rust.
Yeah.
Remember our Killed on Film
I do.
episodes? So as you guys recall, Alec Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter after the gun he was practicing with went off on the film set of the movie Rust, which killed the cinematographer and injured the director.
Yeah.
So tragic. But this past April, the charges against Alec Baldwin were dropped. In a statement to Entertainment Tonight, ET, the special prosecutors Carrie Morrissey and Jason Lewis explained why they decided to drop the charges, which I thought was interesting. So here's a quote from that source. Over the last few days, and in preparation for the May 3rd, 2023 preliminary hearing, new facts were revealed that demand further investigation and forensic analysis in the case against Alexander Alec Ray Baldwin III. The statement read, "Consequently, we can cannot proceed under the current time constraints and on the facts and evidence turned over by law enforcement in its existing form. We therefore will be dismissing the involuntary manslaughter charges against Mr. Baldwin to conduct further investigation. This decision does not absolve Mr. Baldwin of criminal culpability, and charges may be refiled.
Okay.
Our follow-up investigation will remain active and ongoing. And the statement, that particular statement, which of course is now 2 months old, but it concluded by saying that the charges against the Rust armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, remain unchanged. But I did find that on June 22nd, just this past June 2023, the prosecutors filed a new charge against Hannah Gutierrez Reed, which was tampering with evidence. She had previously been charged with 1 count of involuntary manslaughter, but prosecutors claimed that on or about October 21st of 2021 in Santa Fe County, New Mexico, that she, quote, did transfer narcotics to another person with the intent to prevent the apprehension, prosecution, or conviction of herself, and the highest crime was a 4th-degree felony. Now, her lawyers said that this was vindictive and dirty. Paraphrasing them, they said that this was not, something that had credibility, but that's what's going on with her. Meanwhile, they finished the film Rust.
Really?
It actually wrapped in late May, and Alec Baldwin did mark the achievement with an Instagram post that showed 2 of his castmates, and part of his caption read, quote, "It's been a long and difficult road, but we reached the end of the trail today. Congratulations to Joel, Bianca, and the entire cast and crew. Nothing less than a miracle." So that's the latest.
So what I'm understanding then is that they have dismissed the charges as they stand because they want to do more investigation,
Yes.
so they may recharge him. Okay, I was under the impression that it had just been dismissed.
Right. No,
But
the
no.
way that reads is there is the possibility of new charges.
I wonder if the involuntary manslaughter is going to be upped
That's what I wondered as well.
instead of involuntary, where it's going to be
Right.
murder instead.
It definitely left that open as a possibility in my mind.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, you found something related to our Jaws episode, didn't you?
I did. I have something. We had talked about the Shark is Broken. It was having a run in London, I believe, when we spoke last, but now it is moving to Broadway.
Yay.
Previews start July 25th. It's 90 minutes with no intermission. Ian Shaw does star as his father, and as we said before, it is written by Ian Shaw and Joseph Nixon. But joining Ian Shaw, they have just recast the other 2 roles. I'm assuming. I have no idea why they didn't come back over, but the other 2 actors have been recast for the American production. Alex Brightman is the Richard Dreyfuss character, and he previously starred as Beetlejuice.
Oh,
on Broadway.
Well, that's interesting.
Yep, and Colin Donnell as Roy Scheider, who is in the cast of Jersey Boys and Anything Goes, and that was according to Broadway Internet Movie Database.
Yeah.
It opens August 10th, which is the same month that this show will air, so break a leg, guys. If you hear this, probably they won't, but, but if you do. And then it already has a closing date of November 19th, 2023.
Okay. So
it's going to be at the John Golden Theater in New York, New York.
Sounds like they have a great cast.
I know. I wish we could
Yeah.
go see this.
We saw a picture of the son, what was his name? Ian Shaw.
Ian.
He looks so much like his
Oh,
father,
yes, he does.
doesn't he? Yeah, that was great. Well, that's super interesting.
Yeah, and I have another follow-up from our first season. This Top Gun Maverick.
Ooh.
You know that the case about the copyright?
Yes.
It is also still going on.
Really?
I have a feeling we're going to be following the Rust case and this case
For a while.
now. So, as a reminder, Paramount bought the film rights to the 1983 article written by a man named, and I probably will mispronounce this, Ehud Yoneh. That film eventually became the mega hit Top Gun. In 2022, Paramount released a sequel, Top Gun Maverick, which was not just a hit, it was a phenomenon. Steven Spielberg was quoted as saying that Tom Cruise nearly single-handedly saved theatrical distribution with this movie.
Wow.
Big deal. Now, here's where the conflict sets in. I'm pulling from a Hollywood Reporter article dated November 10th, 2022, so it's a little bit old. There is a provision in copyright law that allows authors to reclaim the right to their original work after a set waiting period, which is usually around 35 years. Ehud Yoneh's wife and son, named Shoash and Yuval Yoneh, maintain that they applied for and were given back the rights to the original article as of January of 2020. They say they alerted Paramount to this change by sending them a notice of termination, which they say Paramount ignored. Now, continuing to quote from the article directly, prior to the termination date, which was January 2020, in a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, it also stressed that the story at issue is a non-fiction piece that shares no similarity with the narrative action movie about a fictional veteran pilot. The Yanez countered with a list of more than 70 alleged similarities between the article and the sequel.
Oh, goodness.
His original article and the sequel.
Yeah.
U.S. District Judge Percy Anderson found on Thursday that the suit pointed to enough similarities between the story and Top Gun Maverick to survive dismissal. He says, quote, defendant's primary argument in its motion to dismiss is that the plaintiffs have not sufficiently pled in their complaint that the article and the sequel are substantially similar, reads the order. The court disagrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. According to the Buffalo News, a hearing is scheduled for September 26, 2023.
So that is coming up.
It's coming up this
quickly.
fall. Yeah, I'm very interested in following this story. I think I have thought from the beginning they have a case. They really
sounds like the court thinks they have a case.
The court thinks they have a case. I don't think that they're wanting them to pull distribution. They just want give us a cut of it. I think at first they were kind of threatening to pull distribution, but once they saw how big this movie was, there's no way it's going to get pulled. So just give us the royalties that he would have gotten because you took from his article.
Right. I said it then, I'll say it now. These things make my brain hurt.
Me too. And it makes me so scared.
Do they have juries? I would hate to be on a jury or the judge, whomever makes that decision. I would not enjoy that. Ooh, okay. Well, that brings us to our
happier.
I don't know if this is happier, but I think it's fun. Okay, it is happier. We started season 2 with a theme that I absolutely loved, Spooktober, and 4 episodes that I had a blast recording, as I recall. The very first one was our episode called A Look Inside the Most Terrifying Building in America, Waverly Hills Sanitorium. Well,
never going. Timmy is safe.
Go there right now.
No.
I would get in the car and go there this second.
I would wave to you as you drove away.
Okay, well, here's the fun part.
Okay.
After that episode aired, some of Kirk's friends who are listeners were talking about it, and one of his friends and a coworker who I don't believe was a listener prior to that, she was interested, and she is now a listener.
Oh, yay.
But she heard our episode and she had some of her own experiences to share.
No.
And so I asked her to send in a little audio clip to share this one very memorable experience that she had in Waverly.
Oh my gosh.
I'll play that for you.
All right.
When I met my husband in 1999, I had never heard of Waverly Hills until he told me about it. While mountain biking, he and his buddies had discovered this old building and explored it and started learning about it, and then they ended up, sometimes they would go and practice their rappelling skills before trips to Red River Gorge, and they would go up to the roof and rappel off the side. So he asked me if I wanted to go for a bit of a hike and check out this old place. We did, and I, with a bit of nerves, walked right past those no trespassing signs up the back hill, and absolutely fell in love with the building, the architecture and the detail and just the beauty of it. You know, when he first started going there, it was still full of furniture. You could tell which rooms were laboratories, exam rooms, offices, patient rooms, and like the labs were full of medical equipment at the time. When I went, like the bathrooms were still full of beautiful marble, and it was just gorgeous. So we were exploring all of the rooms. I think it was on the 3rd floor when we were walking on the backside where the promenade is, and those big, beautiful brick frames that just let light flood across the hallway and into each room on the interior side of the building. And we would explore the room and then move on down the hall. And then we got to a room almost to the curve in the building, and I felt sick before I saw this one particular room. I felt sick and I felt terrified. I was clammy, I was sweating, and just scared. So I looked to my left and realized that there was one room where there was no light. And it was like the light just stopped at the door frame as though a door was closed into the room. I had no feelings. I was pretty skeptical about anything as far as spirits or, you know, any kind of connections or anything like that. I just knew I couldn't go in there. And I remember hearing my voice say to him, I can't go in that room. Bad things happened there. Don't make me go in. And I thought, I sound like an absolute loon, and this guy's never going to call me again. But he looked at me like he wasn't sure if I was crazy or if I was right. But he said, we don't have to go there. And I'm telling you, as soon as we walked by and got back into the light, I was fine. I wasn't sick. I wasn't sweaty. And everything was fine. I just knew something awful happened there. I wish I knew what the room number was, but I don't. We almost had a run-in with some security guards with questionable ethics, and I remember praying that if I got out of there, I would never return without permission of the owner. So my husband assures me that now that they do haunted houses and whatnot, I could go there safely, but I don't think a haunted house would ever scare me the way that Waverly did by itself.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, first of all, thank you to Trina for
Yes.
sending that. Wasn't she a wonderful storyteller?
Yes.
I mean, she did such a beautiful job telling about
Very
her experience.
descriptive.
You heard me laugh at an inappropriate time, which was because I was looking at Ashley, who looked like she was just about to, like, I don't know, collapse in the middle of the floor. Like, she's, like, holding her face, and she's, like, her eyes are watering. So my laughter was not about the story.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. She was laughing at me. I was trying not to exclaim while I was like keeping my thoughts inside of me.
It was cool, though, that she was there so long ago.
Nobody really owned it at that point?
Well, and I don't know about that part of it. It probably was abandoned.
Oh, yeah, that's
we're
what I
just
mean.
Guessing. But I thought it was interesting that she said the furniture and the
I know.
appliances and things were still in it at that time.
That would be so creepy, too.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yes. That's why I'm making the faces that I am. And then the security guards was scrupulous, whatever. That's like, what is happening?
Well,
Made my eyes water.
I thought that would be a great way to start, because when she told me the story in person, I was like, oh my goodness. And so for our update, I was like, Trina, could you please
She did a
send
great
it?
job,
And she
Trina.
did.
Thank you for giving me the watery eyes.
Well, that actually brings us to November, I
Okay.
think, in terms of our updates.
Okay.
Our November month was potpourri. It was just kind of this little mixture of whatever we wanted to address.
That's right.
And one of the fun episodes from that month was Stranger Things,
Yes.
a nostalgic love letter to the 80s, which you took, didn't you, Ashley?
I did. And actually, my friend Jaden sent me something just yesterday
Ooh.
about Stranger Things. So I've got a couple of things for you. Filming for the final season 5, is supposed to already be underway, but in early May, the Duffer Brothers posted a note on Twitter stating that filming will not start until the writer's strike is over. So who knows when that is going to be. 2 interesting romance notes. Millie Bobby Brown is engaged to actor Jake Bon Jovi, the son of musician John Bon Jovi. And there is, probably you guys already know this, but there is one real life couple in the cast. Though Natalia Dyer's Nancy Wheeler was linked to Steve Joe Keery in season 1, she eventually started dating Charlie Heaton's Jonathan Byers on the show, and then eventually in real life as well, and they have been together for several years. Now
I did not know that.
You did not know that?
I know. Isn't that... that's, to me, such a fun detail. I can't believe that had gotten past me.
Yes. So the thing that Jaden sent us is this fascinating trailer for a Stranger Things stage show.
How fun
In
is that?
London. It's at the London Theater, and I'm reading from my phone because I didn't have time to put it in the document yet, but it's called Stranger Things: The First Shadow, and this is from the London Theater website. And here is the synopsis. Hawkins, 1959. A regular town with regular worries. Young Jim Hopper's car won't start. Bob Newby's sister won't take his radio show seriously. And Joyce Maladano just wants to graduate and get out of town. When the new student Henry Creel arrives, his family finds that a fresh start isn't so easy, and the shadows of the past have a very long reach. Brought to life by multi-award-winning creative team who take theatrical storytelling and stagecraft to a whole new dimension, this gripping new adventure will take you right back to the beginning of the Stranger Things story and may hold a key to the end. By Kate Trifry, not sure. Original story by the Duffer Brothers, Jack Thorne and Kate Trifry, based on the Netflix series Stranger Things, created by the Duffer Brothers and directed by Stephen Daldry. The play is set within the world and mythology of Stranger Things. A good guide would be to check if you and your party are comfortable with the level of content within the TV show.
Oh.
Yes, the runtime is 2 hours and 30 minutes, including an interval, which I assume they mean intermission. Opening date, November 17th, 2023. Closing date, August 25th, 2024.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's at the Phoenix Theater and recommended for 12 plus. Under 16 must be accompanied by an adult. Under 5 is not permitted.
Okay, so we're going to have some scary things happening.
Yes, we are.
On stage.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see that. That sounds really good.
The first shadow.
Ooh, all right.
So thank you, Jaden.
Yes, yes. Well, also in November, we had an episode called I Want My Old MTV.
Yes.
And we did talk about the fact within that episode that MTV is not the MTV that
it used to be.
It used to be. And apparently it has taken some more hits since then. A May 10th, 2023 CNN article said this. A major Paramount division announced Tuesday it will shutter MTV News and slash its U.S. workforce by 25%, bringing to an end the iconic Music Video Network's news division that once covered a range of issues from pop culture to politics and became a household name for Generation X and millennial adolescents. So it's the end of an era, truly is. They pointed out that the channel over the years had times when it had just really groundbreaking stuff. Unforgettable coverage was the term they used in this article. They covered things like the fall of the Berlin Wall, a town hall with president at that time, Bill Clinton, the death of Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain. Like they were in it back in the day, but it's the end. It's now over. But the article also pointed out this is significant not only for MTV, but it's a sign that a lot of other media outlets are hurting too, because there were layoffs and cuts that were taking place in other
areas.
Yes, in other areas too. So that was a quick update there, and we are actually already in December, which was a holly jolly holiday. I happened to reach out to Chris Church, who was the manager for Conrad Caldwell.
Yes, we loved that place.
Remember, we took our candlelight tour.
Yes, we did.
It was so fun. And I asked if he happened to have any updates he would like to share. Well, something that he told us was that their museum is embarking on a restoration of the office's leaded glass windows on the 3rd floor. They are very excited about that project because, I mean, I'm sure you're always having to upkeep and renovate when you are dealing with a historical home like that. He said they are still accepting donations on their website for that project, and he kind of gave a little teaser that their candlelight Christmas tours will be returning, but maybe with a little twist. Not sure what that is.
Interesting.
But something to maybe look forward to.
Yes, I would like to. I'd like to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
So the thing I found was on the Christmas Story sequel, A Christmas Story Christmas, or Christmas Story, A Christmas Story itself. And it actually happened on the day that I was looking all this information up, like an hour before I Googled it. It came out.
Okay.
So you did mention, of course, this is something separate. You did mention during the episode that Melinda Dillon had retired from acting and would not be reprising her role in the film. I am sad to report, if you have not heard already, that Melinda did pass away on January 9th of this year at 83 years old. A cause of death was never given. But in happier news, in an article published on June 21st, 2023, pretty much an hour before I Googled it, the Akron Beacon Journal reported that, quote, the biggest cast reunion of the beloved A Christmas Story movie will be held in Cleveland this November, end quote. Hosted by the Greater Cleveland Film Commission, it is a 3-day event, November 10th, 11th, and 12th, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the release of the beloved film, and will be located at the Cleveland Public Auditorium. Their promise is to be behind-the-scenes stories, an opportunity to meet Zach Ward, Scott Schwartz, R.D. Robb, Yano Anaya, Ian Petrella, Teddy Moore, Patty LaFontaine, Drew Hokovar, and Peter Billingsley himself, who usually does not go to these things.
Wow.
The tickets start at $20, and we will post the link in the show notes. So I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of those names, but it sounds pretty exciting.
It does. 40 years.
40 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. Well, January had the theme of A Bend in the Road. And one of our episodes that was very popular, in fact, you read it as, I believe, one of our top 10, was Forging a New Path.
Yes.
Michael J. Fox, Christina Applegate, and Robert Downey Jr. I found just a little bit of news on actually all 3 of them.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to quickly share with you. Well, first of all, for Michael J. Fox, probably a lot of you have seen his documentary Still that came out just recently. It has gotten such good reviews. And as I mentioned already, I've watched most of it and I felt like it was great. On Rotten Tomatoes, it had a 99% on the tomato meter and a 95% for their audience rating.
He is so beloved.
Absolutely. And a Variety magazine article whose title I thought was revealing was Michael J. Fox requested no violins for emotional yet joyful Doc still. The point was he didn't want sad music playing. He didn't want things. He wanted there to be this joyful, upbeat tone.
But truthful.
Yes. And that is exactly, I think, what this documentary was like, the part that I've seen. Very real, very matter of fact, yet full of humor and love. And I'm paraphrasing, but there was a review written on the website rogerebert.com that commented that with its fast pace and the approach that they've used in that documentary, Michael J. Fox's struggle with Parkinson's is almost more celebratory in the way it feels rather than sad. I thought that said a lot.
It does.
Yeah. Now, Christina Applegate. In May, there were several articles written about an interview she had given to Vanity Fair that had just come out. So all these other articles are talking about that one interview.
Yeah.
But she was quoted as saying, "I'm probably not going to work on camera again." And then she went on to discuss how very difficult it was to finish Dead to Me, but also what an accomplishment and what a joy it was to have done it. Then there was the 30th anniversary of the Race to Erase MS Gala that was held just this past June 2nd, and David Faustino, who co-starred with Christina Applegate in Married with Children, attended. Well, while he was there, of course, different reporters were speaking to him, and somebody from People magazine asked about Christina, and his quote was, "She's not ready to be here tonight. I'm just here to offer her as much support and love as I can. I think she just wants to get a little stronger. I'm thinking she'll be here next year. She was on the fence, but she just said, I'm just not feeling up to it right now." So
he was kind of there representing her.
Right. But to me, I think it speaks to the idea that she's still considering, and doesn't sound like she feels very hopeful about getting maybe back on camera.
Yeah.
But it sounded to me as though she plans to really support her cause. In a way, it felt like maybe following Michael J. Fox's lead a little bit there. In terms of Robert Downey Jr., it's a little different. Sarah Jessica Parker has been in the news lately, of course, because she has a new show that's come out, and just like that. And so she's done a lot of press. And so they said it was very unusual, but she has actually kind of surprised everybody by speaking a bit about her long ago relationship with Robert Downey Jr., whom she dated from 1984 to 1991.
That's a long time.
And in a People magazine article from June 20th, she was quoted as saying, "People around him would be dismissive of me, but I had given him stability and tried to create a steady heartbeat that allowed him to show up on time," meaning to be functional and to kind of fulfill his commitments.
Right.
She went on to say, "That made me angry and embarrassed me." But she also commented, this was from the original source is that one same interview, but different articles were talking about it. So in a different article I found, a quote they gave was that she said it made her feel like a parent at the age of 22.
Yeah.
However, she was very clear. She went on to say she did not regret their time together, and she did not have any resentment. She was just talking about how hard it was for her. Now, on the flip side, Robert Downey Jr. has always spoken very well of Sarah Jessica Parker, and back in 2008, he gave an interview with Parade where he said, "She provided me a home and understanding. She tried to help me. She was so miffed when I didn't get my act together." And more recently, he told New Yorker via one of his reps that he had great respect for her.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Okay, well, I have some information on our January 31st episode, Where No Words Exist, the healing power of the arts. We spoke about the nonprofit organization Positively Arts, headed by Polita Simpson, and a student named Ella shared with us some of her achievements and the way her participation in the program has impacted her life. In April, they made the announcement that Polita Simpson of Positively Arts was named a Remarkable Woman of Southern Nevada.
That is awesome. Congratulations
Yes.
to Polita Simpson. Love it.
Did you know that Vincent Van Gogh has an update?
What?
He does have an update. Van Gogh is going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. From an article in The Guardian published on May 24th, 2023, quote, "Bringing together all of the artist's major Cypress paintings, as well as important sketches and drawings, the new show focuses on two extraordinarily productive years for Van Gogh, 1888 through 1890, where his time in the French countryside led to some of the most renowned paintings ever created. It has been 4 years in the making. making. It's called Van Gogh's Cypresses, and it aims to be a holistic look into what led the great artist to become so captivated by the singular evergreen and how he invested himself in embodying its unique allure in artworks that have resonated for well over a century. End quote.
Isn't that interesting? You know, you kind of started out a little, facetiously there, but I think it is interesting that it's like there's this resurgence.
Yeah.
Like there's an update on this artist who's been gone for so long.
It says the major paintings featured in what is being called a concise, this is a quote, a concise and powerful exhibit are Country Road and Province by Night, Wheatfield with Cypresses, and The Starry Night. And because Wheatfield with Cypresses is contractually obligated to never leave the Met, these three paintings have not been displayed together since 1901.
Really?
Yes. And one aspect I think that you are going to be particularly interested in, Candy, is that something the Met's director, Max Holland, said, quote, the many letters between the brothers make for one of the exhibition's most touching aspects. He says, quote, I think the exhibit's most moving works are the very intimate letters. You see the original letters by Van Gogh to his brother Theo, where he describes what he's seeing out his window. It's very powerful to see how it moves from an idea to the written word to sketching in a letter to drawing to a painting. You see how the artistic process works. End quote.
Fascinating.
Yes, and these works
that.
are going to be exhibited together until August 27th, 2023. So our friends in New York, you still have time to go see this.
I did not expect.
I didn't either.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that update.
You are welcome.
So I don't believe we had any updates for February's theme of creators and innovators. So let's move on to March,
all right,
which was Monster Madness.
I loved that series.
I found some really fun updates.
What?
Related to our Nothing to Fear But Fear Itself.
Oh, gosh.
Plus Dolls and
Oh, my
Clowns
gosh.
episode. I am like beyond pumped about this.
Okay, tell me.
So I hope you
Do I
love
wanna
it as
know?
much as I do. Okay, so I did not expect. Like I'm just kind of Googling and this popped up in front of me. Ashley.
What?
Oh my gosh. Okay. A Smithsonian article published May 25th of 2023 talked about a phenomenon that had been occurring over the past few years. Although based on the news articles that I saw as I started researching this, a lot of the press was last summer. There was a lot of focus last summer in particular. Here's the phenomenon.
Oh no.
There's been this occurrence
Oh, no.
of all these creepy dolls washing up on the beaches in Southeast Texas.
What?
The article included a video from a web segment that John Oliver, who's a humorist and he has a show, he had taped about this, okay? I am going to play just a small part of it, but I want you to hear it.
Oh my gosh. Somebody's throwing creepy dolls in the water.
Nothing like the beach, is there, gang? But I'm afraid I have some bad news for you, because this beach season has already developed a serious problem, specifically along a roughly 40-mile stretch in South Texas. Please, take a look.
Washing up with the high tide is something that is turning heads and sparking reactions like this.
I think it's very freaky.
Dozens of dolls and doll parts got stuck in the sand along the South Texas coastline. If you plan to head out to the beach, watch where you step because something might already be watching you.
What?
Burn them! Burn them now! I hate those dolls! I hate them so much! I am here talking to you about that in a week that we are off exclusively because I hate them. Though before I do that, I do have to very quickly give props to the local news production team there that put that segment together, because that piano music was both spooky and perfect, and it is...
Okay, I'm with John Oliver there. That was creepy.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, but also it was so fun, his reaction when he said, burn
Burn them all.
Yes. So the article goes on to explain that about 15 years ago, this research reserve started holding a yearly outdoor auction called Tony's Trash to Treasure Benefit in honor of the rehabilitation facility's founder, Tony Amos, who had died in 2017. Well, they sell off items found on the beach for this event. And basically, just to clarify more, what they do is they auction off strange things that wash up on the beach in order to raise awareness about protecting our oceans and to raise funds for the Amos Rehabilitation Keep, which short is ARC. And that specific organization rehabilitates sea turtles and birds.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
So here's a cute little note. According to this same Smithsonian article, the fellow we just heard, John Oliver, ended up buying those dolls for $10,000.
Oh, that's funny.
To support that. And,
well, that's good.
We don't know if he burned them or not, but I thought
we
that
know
was
what his
kinda
plans were.
So I don't believe we had any updates for April, putting the scandal in scandal water. But when we get down to May, following a thread, I think you had a couple here, didn't you?
I do. So we have the cultural phenomenon of Star Wars and the creative genius of George Lucas. The details are still under wraps, but Lucasfilm has confirmed there will be a new movie that will follow Daisy Ridley's iconic character Rey as she strives to rebuild the Jedi Order and create a new era of peace.
Ooh, I bet there's a lot of excitement around that
I bet there
one.
is too. And then also we talked about Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and Rick Deckard, Hollywood's favorite hero, Harrison Ford. Dial of Destiny has come out. We have not had a chance to see it yet as of this recording because it came out just a couple days ago. But it has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 69% on the tomato meter, but an 88% audience score.
Do you have some friends who've seen it?
I don't yet.
Okay,
No,
I
because
have
it's so fresh.
I have a couple who've seen it, and I
Okay.
also read some reviews because I do want to go. And
Yeah.
I was like, what are they saying about it? I'm getting a vibe that, yes, of course, there are people who are criticizing it, but I am seeing a lot of people who are saying, no, it is enjoyable for the
Really?
nostalgia
Good,
factor.
good.
It's enjoyable for the way they're trying to kind of, all the nods. And so I'm definitely excited about going.
Okay, cool. We'll have to go.
Yeah. Well, June had a theme of summer road trip. We just came out
We
of
just
that
finished it.
not too
Yes.
long ago. But there is a big update related to Graceland.
Oh,
Elvis has not
yes.
left the building.
Yes.
So remember, at the end of that episode, we mentioned the legal battle that was taking place between Priscilla Presley and her granddaughters following the tragic passing of Lisa Marie in January. Well, to quickly review, Priscilla Presley disputed 2016 amendment to her daughter's will.
That she claimed she did not know about.
Right, which stated that Lisa Marie Presley had removed Priscilla as a co-trustee. I found out a little bit more detail about it. This petition, filed in January by Priscilla, claimed that Priscilla did not receive the amendment while her daughter was alive as required by the trust.
Oh.
Okay, so there's the sticking point there.
Gotcha.
And again, as we had mentioned before, the document misspelled her name, so that was
It misspelled
questionable.
Priscilla? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Now, the petition also alleged that the amendment was not witnessed or notarized, and so therefore they were questioning the authenticity of the document, but also of Lisa Marie's signature.
Sounds like somebody tried to forge something, maybe?
That's, I think, what they were trying to imply.
Okay.
Now, in mid-May, however, the attorneys representing both sides reported that they had reached a settlement.
Okay.
And one of the lawyers told reporters, quote, "The families are happy. Everyone is happy, unified, together, and excited for the future." Now, the details of the settlement were supposed to remain private, but
Okay.
they have leaked.
Do you think they leaked or were they leaked on purpose?
Well, I don't know. There was the document had a lot of redaction, but supposedly there was one spot where they didn't mark out a figure. So the best I understand, and these are from pretty recent articles, a People magazine article said that Riley Keough is now the sole trustee of her late mother, Lisa Marie Presley's estate, and that she agreed to give her grandmother, Priscilla Presley, a $1 million lump sum payment plus $400,000 for legal fees. Now, Riley will also be the trustee of the sub-trust for her 14-year-old twin sisters, while Priscilla is going to remain trustee of the sub-trust for her son, who is also Lisa Marie's half-brother, Neverone Garibaldi, and he's granted 1/9 of Lisa Marie's trust. The rest of it is split among Riley and the two twins.
That's very complicated.
I know. I thought
Yes.
so too. But in effect, it sounds like the families worked it out on their own.
Okay, good.
And that Priscilla gets this one settlement. Most everything else is over here with the girls, the granddaughters. But they have not forgotten Priscilla's son, who has this 1/9 portion down the road.
The half-brother
Yes.
of Lisa Marie.
Yes,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Also, there is a new movie coming out called Priscilla. Did you see that? Sophia Coppola.
did not.
Yeah, there's a new film. I don't have any details other than I just saw previews, but it is coming out very soon based on Priscilla's autobiography.
Oh,
And Sophia
interesting.
Coppola is doing it. Yeah.
Okay, well, that should be fun. We'll have to look for that.
Yep.
We also, in June, had a Grand Canyon episode, and a couple of our friends and listeners wrote into us about this.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Randall, hi Randall, he sent us a message kind of pointing us to other forms of entertainment that were centered around the Grand Canyon that we did not mention. And the one he thought of was the 1994 hit song by Martin Page called In the House of Stone and Light.
Oh.
And I pulled it up and it was fun. I listened to it and saw the video, but I wanted to do just a little bit of research, and I found a quote on the Song Facts site that said, quote, in our interview with Martin Page, he explained, quote, the Indians there called the canyon the House of Stone and Light. And I saw that really as a reference to my own body and my own soul. I saw the house as my body and building something inside yourself to be strong. The House of Stone and Light was supposed to be this term that Native Americans used to refer to the Grand Canyon, and he translated it to kind of talk about himself and his soul and his body in his song. Oh, and by the way, I believe the tribe that used that term was the Havasupai tribe. Okay. Now, my friend Jessica also sent a message. She's another listener, and she was very excited about this. She mentioned that we were a little off. Matt Kearney is one of her favorite artists, and she said he's not actually country, more rock or pop.
Oh, okay.
And we had, you posed the question actually, you wondered if there was some kind of a trail that ran all the way through the Grand Canyon, such as like an Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
She sent some information about that. I ended up doing a little bit more Googling, and I found this amazing National Geographic article written about a through hike that was started in September 2015 by writer Kevin Fedarko and photographer Pete McBride. Their point was to raise public awareness about the threats to the park, you know, like trying to protect it.
Yeah.
So what I discovered in reading this article is that if you do a through hike, it would be approximately 800 miles long. You can't be exact because you can't go straight through. Like you'd have to be going around stuff and depending on the weather and all these factors. When they set off in 2015, only about 24 people 24 people had ever accomplished a through hike. Of those 24, this is back in 2015, I'm not sure how much the statistics have changed, probably not much, but of the 24, only 8 of them, fewer than the number of humans who have stood on the moon, as writer Mr. Fedarko points out, had actually done that hike as a non-stop thing.
They went non-stop for 800 miles?
Oh, they tried, and here's what happened.
Did they die?
After only 6 days, they had to stop. They had too much camera equipment. They were not prepared for how difficult it would be. The extreme heat.
Oh, it's so
hot. They were sick. They were disoriented. Back in Flagstaff, Arizona, the photographer was diagnosed with hyponatremia, a heat-induced imbalance of salts and minerals, which could have killed him.
Ooh.
They almost gave up, but the local hiking community and some Native American conservationists said, no, you guys are doing something really cool. This is really good. They supported them, and the fellows adjusted their plan. They decided to do it over the course of a year. So they did it in 8 stages. They hit like all the different seasons, I believe, of the year. Even so, incredibly difficult. Couldn't have done it without the support of these people.
Yeah.
But they said it was the most amazing experience. And of course, they had beautiful pictures and
I
lots
bet.
of press.
Ooh.
Thought that was fascinating. Sorry, this is a big one. One last update. Mm-hmm. We talked a lot about death. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. There have been some tragic news releases.
Since our episode came out.
Yes, just in the last month or so.
Yeah.
So one of those I'll quickly share is there was a man who fell 4,000 feet to his death from the very popular tourist attraction, that walkway, the Skywalk. He never was identified by name. He was 33 years old, and he went over the edge into the canyon below. On June 5th, they had to use a rope rescue team to get him. He was deceased when they found him, and they did investigation. They ruled it later a suicide. But this skywalk is supposed to be a very safe place. It's had more than 10 million visitors since 2007, according to the Grand Canyon West website, but they are going to examine it more and make sure. But just a tragic
our friend
case.
Keith sent us that one shortly after the episode, a screenshot of that.
Well, that brings me to the end of my updates. Ashley, do you have anything else that we haven't shared?
I do not think so. I think I am done as well.
Oh, all right. Well, here we are.
99.
The next time we are together, the next time you all hear our voices, we are going to be celebrating our 100th episode.
I can't believe it.
I can't either.
I really cannot believe it.
I agree. Sometimes I can't wrap my head around
That
it.
we have listened to 100, we have talked 100 times.
Yes. But it's been such a joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've done this several times, but it's important to do it again. We cannot thank you guys enough.
Mm-hmm.
Your support, your giving up your time to listen to us.
Yeah.
When you send in a little response or a comment.
It really makes our day.
It does. It means more to us than you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So as we head towards our 100th, just a big thank you.
Yes.
And a cheers to you, right?
Cheers to the listeners, yes.
Yes. So cheers.
Cheers.
If you love what we do, please rate and review our show. Or you can become a supporter by making a donation through buymeacoffee.com/scandalwaterpod. Whether a single gift or a recurring monthly donation, it would go a long way towards supporting our work and allowing us to keep the tea brewing.
At our website, www.scandalwaterpodcast.com, you can submit questions or your own story ideas, access our sources and show notes, see the merch we offer for sale, and more. You can join the Scandal Water community through our Scandal Water Podcast Facebook page or follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Scandal Water Podcast.
This episode was executive produced by Candy Thomas, that's me, and Ashley Raymer Brown.
That's me.
It was researched and written by Candy Thomas and edited by Ashley Raymer Brown.
A special thank you to Josh Martin, who wrote, composed, and performed the Scandal Water theme and other music. Matt C. Adams, who created the artwork, and Joshua Reith, who designed our website and provides ongoing technical support.
As a reminder, this podcast is purely for entertainment purposes. The thoughts and opinions of the host during each episode of Scandal Water are their own and do not reflect the opinions of any future guests, advertisers, or clearly professional psychologists. Thanks for listening.